In a post-apocalyptic future, Colonies plans to mass-produce combat AIs based on the legendary mercenary Captain Jung-Yi. However, their progress is delayed when the team observes that the android consistently fails the simulation tests the same way. As her daughter, team leader Seo-Hyun, tries to fix the bug, she finds that she still longs for the lost relationship with her mother. In the 22nd century, when climate change has threatened Earth, humans are forced to relocate to man-made shelters in outer space. After a decade of migration, the human population settled in 80 of the shelters. However, shelters number 8, 12, and 13 declared themselves the Adrian Republic and began attacking Earth and other shelters, triggering a war between them and the Allied forces that's been going on for 40 years. Meanwhile, the humans left on Earth manufacture weapons to help the government in the war against the Adrian Republic. In Adrian Shelter B-25, Captain Jung-Yi, the Allied forces' finest soldier, wakes up and hears mechanical footsteps coming her way. After taking one battle robot down, she continues on to destroy the others using her go-to rifle with a built-in grappling hook. Suddenly, a man contacts Jung-Yi and asks her where her team is. However, as she replies that no one else is in the area, Zimbo, a four-legged robot from the Adrian Republic, enters and shoots at her. The man advises Jung-Yi to hit the E-battery located in the robot's rear to fully destroy it. Later, the Zimbo finds her, and as the strategic soldier runs, she purposely breaks the large pipe above her, spilling fuel on her mechanical enemy. After the Zimbo gets cornered, Jung-Yi aims and shoots, setting it ablaze. However, the intelligent robot extinguishes the fire and then rolls speedily towards her. She quickly manages to get on a higher surface to execute a clever plan. When the robot finally spots her and starts shooting, Jung-Yi uses her grappling hook to pull her to safety, while metal beams fall on her enemy. While hiding behind a discarded vehicle, the soldier takes aim at the back of the Zimbo, but a tiny doll hanging from the rearview mirror distracts her. The split-second hesitation allows the robot to shoot Jung-Yi, and she falls to the ground. As the soldier gets up and examines her injured fingers, she's shocked to see metal framework instead of bone and flesh. Suddenly, the Jung-Yi freezes, and the alarm blares, and the simulation around the soldier vanishes, revealing her attached to a robotic crane. A group of scientists enters the room and remarks that the android keeps failing on the same spot. Shortly after, team leader Seo-Hyun follows and orders them to call it a day to prepare for an important event. Meanwhile, the excited project director, Sang-Hun, is in the conference room getting ready to pitch their android to the senior officers of the army. When the guests arrive, the director awkwardly starts the presentation, beginning with the history of the war, which the seniors find unnecessary. As the video plays, it's revealed that the real Jung-Yi failed her last mission to blow up a fuel rod in Adrian Shelter B-25, and her injuries resulted in a coma. Decades later, Colonies researchers led by Jung-Yi's daughter, Seo-Hyun, are working on extracting her legendary combat skills from her brain to build an AI soldier codenamed Jung-Yi, which will be mass-produced and deployed. To get the combat data, Jung-Yi's original battles against Adrian are recreated in a simulation. One of the skeptical senior officers asks if the android had gotten past her final battle, and the hopeful Seo-Hyun says they'll achieve it soon and vows to regain Jung-Yi's glory. Following the optimistic response from the army officers, Sang-Hun talks privately with Seo-Hyun, who's known the Colonies chairman since she was young. The proud director says that the chairman has high hopes for the project and then gives Seo-Hyun his full support. In the laboratory, Seo-Hyun and the rookie, Jae-kyung, process and investigate the issue with their 17th brain replica. In their processing, the Jung-Yi AI starts screaming and agonizing in pain upon realizing that she's an android. When Seo-Hyun disables the pain sensors, the android suddenly switches to anger, increasing her will to fight. Seeing this, Seo-Hyun thinks that the brain replica is flawed because the android thinks that it's still human and orders Jae-kyung to destroy it. As Jae-kyung and Seo-Hyun walk down the hallway, the newbie expresses his fondness for Captain Jung-Yi, painting her as a real-life superhero. Seo-Hyun scoffs and reveals that her mother only joined the war to finance her lung tumor treatment when she was younger. As a child, she sobbed whenever her mom left for war, and the day she had her surgery was her mom's final day in battle. Upon reflecting, Seo-Hyun wonders if Jung-Yi resents her because she sacrificed her life to save her. Hearing this, Jae-kyung suggests she ask the android during the processing. When Seo-Hyun takes the subway home, she spots a mother and child, triggering a flashback to the last time she saw her own mother. Decades ago, just before Seo-Hyun's operation, Jung-Yi drops by to wish her luck before heading to battle. Jung-Yi rubs Seo-Hyun's cheek with her own for good luck and gives her a tight hug, assuring her return. In the present, Seo-Hyun takes her annual ethics test, which consists of questions about morality and emotions that's designed to determine if a person is an android or not. Afterwards, she listens to the doctor, who relays the unfortunate news that the tumor has returned to her lungs, and she only has 3 months to live. Hearing this, Seo-Hyun thinks that her operation as a child was pointless. The doctor then advises that she immediately copy her brain and upload it to a prosthetic body, since laws protect people who choose to do this. However, the doctor informs her that such legal protection only applies to Type A, which has a brain storage backup. Unfortunately, Seo-Hyun thinks that it's too expensive for her. The doctor mentions that there are other options. Type B is cheaper, but her prosthetic body has no right to marriage, freedom of movement, or adoption. In addition, the government will require her to surrender her brain data. Meanwhile, Type C is free but the worst of them all, because the prosthetic is devoid of basic rights. The brain data is automatically given up, so licensed companies can copy it. This means that people who choose this option will lose their individuality. Shortly after, the doctor mentions that the contract her mother signed for Chronoid to help them with her surgery back then was for Type C. After Seo-Hyun promises she'll think about it, the doctor shuts off to recharge, revealing that he's been an android all along. As Seo-Hyun leaves the building, she remembers the day the Chronoid executives came to her house to get her crying grandmother to sign a contract letting them use her mother's brain data on androids in exchange for paying for Seo-Hyun's medical and living costs. Shortly after, a young teary-eyed Seo-Hyun receives a Jung-Yi action figure as a gift to assure her that her mother will be remembered as a hero forever. Before her day ends, Seo-Hyun goes to see her mother's comatose body, which is stored in a special chamber that preserves her brain. The next day, Seo-Hyun works on Jung-Yi's 18th brain copy and gets ready to test it in a simulation. Suddenly, Sang-hoon decides to try a new approach in the hopes of achieving a different outcome, so he orders to shoot the android in the leg before starting. When the wounded Jung-Yi wakes up in the simulation, she groans in excruciating pain, causing Seo-Hyun to hold back tears as she watches. As the android fights through the pain, she is easily outmatched, and her will to fight wanes. Just when Sang-hoon thinks it's over, a new area in Jung-Yi's brain lights up, enabling her to stand up and defeat the robot with only her fists. However, she is shot in the head by another robot. After the simulation, Sang-hoon is excited by their new discovery and commands the operator to label the new area yellow, concluding that they've found their combat AI. Meanwhile, Seo-Hyun is overcome with emotion as she notices a white liquid leaking from the android's brain. The following day, the entire team leaves the lab and rides the train to Chronoid HQ, where a bashful Lee Se-yeon, the managing director and product development department head, informs them that the chairman is unavailable for their presentation and sent her in his stead. Perplexed by the existence of the new department, Sang-hoon inquires what product Lee Se-yeon's department is developing, but the giggling executive doesn't entertain his question, to his annoyance. On the trip back to the lab, Sang-hoon worries about the weapons department being downsized and promises to keep the chairman's dream alive. Later, while Sang-hoon is excited about the potential new components for the next android test, a woman enters to inform him that the chairman has arrived and is waiting in his office. As they walk in the hallway, Sang-hoon inquires if Seo-Hyun has taken her ethics test recently, explaining that the chairman is thorough about it. When Sang-hoon enters the office, he suddenly freezes, revealing that the chairman had actually cloned his own brain to create the android. Suddenly, the chairman appears and surprises Seo-Hyun with an important piece of information. The Adrian Republic and the Allied forces are signing a treaty that will officially end the war, so there'll be no need for weapon production. While Seo-Hyun processes what she's hearing, the chairman asserts that their research on Jung-Yi AI isn't useless because their development on brain replication can help them build housekeeping and service worker AIs. The chairman confirms that their days in the lab are coming to an end. Seo-Hyun tries to convince the chairman to continue the project, but he turns down her request, commanding her to wrap everything up and switch to making household android AIs instead. Before he brings Sang-hoon back to life, the chairman says that he plans to get rid of him when the project is done. Later, Sang-hoon is frustrated as he watches the 22nd Jung-Yi brain replica fail in the same spot again. In an attempt to light up the new area they discovered last time, he orders the team to cut off the android's arm, but it only increases its pain level. Desperate, Sang-hoon enters the room and shoots at Jung-Yi's leg multiple times, shutting it down. Seo-Hyun, who can't bear to see her mom hurt, takes over the admin controls and refuses his request for the android to return to the simulation, prompting him to point a gun to her head. Fearlessly staring at a fuming Sang-hoon, Seo-Hyun calmly announces that the day is over. Suddenly, a woman interrupts them, announcing that the director must immediately attend to the chairman in his office. Before the rest of the team leaves, Seo-Hyun advises them to assemble the data and send it to her. Later, when Seo-Hyun is looking at the data and feeling pain in her lungs, she finds out that Jae-kyung extracted the android's brain data without telling her. Afterwards, Seo-Hyun immediately confronts Jae-kyung in his quarters, where she learns that he developed a courtesan android in her mother's image. After wrapping the android in a blanket, the furious Seo-Hyun strangles Jae-kyung. However, in his defense, Jae-kyung explains that he just followed the orders from headquarters to develop a product with a courtesan feature because it would make a lot of money. In an attempt to calm his team leader down, Jae-kyung adds that Jung-Yi signed the contract for Type C, which means that she was aware of this possibility. A few seconds later, Seo-Hyun sees the Jung-Yi action figure sitting on the shelf and confirms that her teammate was correct. Anyone can indeed own her. To activate the android once again, Seo-Hyun returns to the lab, where she sees Sang-hoon, who informs her that the simulations will end the next day. The lonely director blames himself for the project's cancellation because he lost the chairman's trust. Unaffected by the director's rant, Seo-Hyun goes into the android chamber and wakes Jung-Yi up after disabling the pain sensors. As the android becomes concerned about her condition, Seo-Hyun explains that they've rescued her from the enemy, but that she's severely injured and will pass peacefully soon. When Seo-Hyun is about to deactivate Jung-Yi, she notices that the unidentified part of her brain activity they've been looking for lights up as she asks if her daughter survived the surgery. With tears in her eyes, Seo-Hyun reassures Jung-Yi that the surgery went well, to the android's relief. Jung-Yi then confesses that she lost the tiny doll her daughter had given her as a good luck charm, revealing that seeing it in the rearview mirror is why she kept losing on the same spot in the simulations. Seo-Hyun immediately shuts the android down and sobs out of guilt. After her breakdown, she realizes that she has to do something to help Jung-Yi. The next day, Seo-Hyun requests to handle the last simulation alone. After her team members leave, she deletes the unidentified part of Jung-Yi's brain. Then she starts to whisper in her ear, warning her of the researchers' plan to replicate her as a combat AI. As soon as the final simulation begins, Jung-Yi uses her usual combat strategies and fails in the same spot. Suddenly, Jae-kyung informs the apathetic Sang-hoon that he noticed the android's brain response is weaker than before. While walking in the hallway, Sang-hoon realizes he's seen something odd, prompting him to return to the lab to confirm it through the video of the last simulation. After seeing that Jung-Yi only pretended to be shot, he activates the emergency alarm. Meanwhile, as Jung-Yi knocks out the staff members who are taking her away, Seo-Hyun returns to the lab to erase the original project. As the staff evacuate, Jung-Yi looks for a way out, only to find herself in a room filled with androids who look like her. Moments later, a trio of aggressive combat AI, activated upon the director's order, enter the room and fight Jung-Yi. When a combat AI pushes Jung-Yi onto a machine, she uses the laser on her attacker. However, another robot kicks her to the ground and strangles her against the wall. As Jung-Yi struggles to breathe, Seo-Hyun arrives and deactivates the combat AI. She then assures Jung-Yi that they're in this together, reminding her that she's the voice that warned her earlier. Shortly after, Seo-Hyun sneaks away with a combat AI while the police robots shoot Jung-Yi. However, when the robot notices that the destroyed android has no brain inside, it connects to the surveillance camera and discovers that Seo-Hyun placed the brain in the combat AI she left with. While on the train, Seo-Hyun advises Jung-Yi to run and start a new life, but Sang-hoon suddenly appears from the front of the train to accuse the team leader of being ungrateful after everything the chairman has done for her. He threatens to shoot her daughter if the android doesn't step aside. Seo-Hyun reveals she deleted Jung-Yi's brain data containing memories of her daughter, which confuses the android. Hearing this, Sang-hoon lowers his gun but then raises it again to shoot the team leader, injuring her chest. Quick on her feet, Jung-Yi restrains Sang-hoon and uses the director's gun to knock him down. After the android attends to Seo-Hyun's injury, the director stands up, sees his reflection, and realizes that he's been an android all along. Soon after, Sang-hoon and Jung-Yi engage in combat. After exchanging punches, Sang-hoon is able to push her through the window, but she intentionally releases so she can swing around the train and crash through the other side. Meanwhile, the police robots shoot from a separate train, and they manage to board Jung-Yi's train through its open windows. As the android fights off the hostile robots, Sang-hoon takes the opportunity to fire the grappling hook, hitting Jung-Yi. As soon as Seo-Hyun realizes her mother is in danger, she tries to stop one of the police robots, but the machine easily pushes Seo-Hyun away, triggering Jung-Yi to be more aggressive. Later, Jung-Yi kicks Sang-hoon out of the train, but he survives by grabbing onto a police robot. He then re-enters the train, surprising the android with his attack. When the train finally approaches the city, the bottom wagon collides with a building, shaking the entire car. As the battle between Sang-hoon and Jung-Yi escalates, the bottom wagon starts to detach. Seo-Hyun, who is safe on the upper wagon, uses the grappling hook to save Jung-Yi, leaving the director to his doom in the falling wagon. When the train finally stops, Jung-Yi tries to help Seo-Hyun, but when she hears the approaching sirens, the injured team leader begs the android to leave her and escape. After careful thought, Jung-Yi finally agrees. However, before she leaves, she leans over and gives Seo-Hyun a lucky cheek rub, just like she did when Seo-Hyun was a little girl. As Jung-Yi exits the train, Seo-Hyun tearfully wishes her mother luck before passing away. Jung-Yi wanders into the highlands and rests on top of a stony surface, basking in the beautiful golden summer light as a free being.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.